everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Again, taking a look at another Jurassic World Rebirth lineup figure. We're taking a look at our first Frenzy Pack figure. This is the brand new, smaller scale lineup of dinosaurs. So now that the Danger Pack is now retired we now move on to the Frenzy Packs, which are brand new for the purpose of Jurassic World Rebirth. And it's pretty cool. I like how they decided to give us a new name just for the purpose of a brand new movie coming out, so that's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Frenzy Packs from now on, unless they stick it to like a 1-year type thing that Mattel's kind of done before. They've had like a name for a certain packing, and then it only lasted like an entire year or something like that. But other than that, it's pretty cool. Frenzy Pack, our first one, and today we're taking a look at a very cool one, and it is the Torvoneustes. Torvoneustes, I think that's how it's pronounced. I had to look it up before I started this video, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Torvoneustes, and it's another marine reptile. Actually, I guess you could say a type of crocodilian, I guess you can say, or at least these animals are very closely related to crocodilians, however you want to explain that. And these are more like of a type of metriorhynchid type animal. I'm not even sure if that's even right, but you know, it's very similar to like the famous Metriorhynchus, and I think even the Dacosaurus, which we do have, which we'll do comparisons in a little bit. But really cool how Mattel is giving us all these different species that aren't even dinosaurs. So this isn't even a dinosaur. So really cool, and it looks really nice. I really love the coloring on this thing. So for the packaging, for the standard Frenzy Pack packaging for Rebirth, you got the awesome Jurassic World Rebirth logo, the red, black, and gray colors of the boat from the movie. In the background, you got the ocean with some of the mountain ranges in the background. Very typical to this new island in the movie. And you got an awesome render of the Spinosaurus right there, looking very cool. The Mattel logo here on the back, Torvoneustes, the FACSAP information, a bunch of other stuff at the bottom, the logo up there, and the 4 others that are part of this first wave of figures. You got the Iani, Edmontonia, obviously we have the Torvoneustes, and the Proceratosaurus, which is a repack. So I'm surprised Mattel didn't give us like a brand new sculpt or anything. But out of this entire first wave, since I already have the Torvoneustes now, I'm just looking for Iani and Edmontonia because I want to collect all of the different species that Mattel releases. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and crack this awesome marine reptile out. Alrighty, so here we have the Mattel Torvoneustes right here out of the box, and taking a good look at it, you know, fully, you know, just taking a good look at the entire figure out of the package. It's a really nice one. It's, you know, as usual, it's always nice to get another new species introduced into the Mattel line, especially one that isn't really part of any movies. It's just kind of a random prehistoric animal that Mattel makes. I mean, like I said many times, it's a great way to kind of educate kids and adults and just collectors of all these different species that you know, pretty much exist or have existed just based on, you know, fossils and just everything that is currently known about each animal in the paleo record, I guess. But Torvoneustes, a really awesome one. I think, like I said before, it's kind of like a Metriorhynchid. If I don't even know still if that's like the right term or not, but you know, similar to things like the Metriorhynchus, and then obviously the Dacosaurus, which I guess we can do like a very early comparison between these two. So here we have both of these. I do believe Dacosaurus and Torvoneustes, especially animals like Metriorhynchus, they are very similar. I'm not sure if 100% they are exactly in the same family. I feel like they're like 2 different types of animals. But I think they all have like some sort of relation to crocodilians. I know Dacosaurus for sure had a lot of relations to crocodilians. It's like a full-on marine crocodile. And then this one right here is definitely much different compared to Dacosaurus, but they are somewhat similar. It's really cool to have these 2 types of animals in figure form. These are the only ones I have. I don't have them in models or anything, just just Mattel, but they look really nice together. The colors kind of complement each other very nicely. But yeah, it's kind of cool to kind of compare both these cool, interesting marine animals. Yeah, something about getting like these smaller marine creatures is really cool to have. I don't know why. I would totally have a blast taking these in like the bathtub or a swimming pool or even at like a lake. I would totally take these little figures with me and play with them in the water. So yeah, it's really cool. And we'll probably do more comparisons later on with the Dacosaurus, so I'll just put that back there. But taking a closer look at the Torvoneustes, really nicely done. I really love the sculpt on it. It's really good. I mean, it's not exactly well proportionate in some way, especially when you look at Metriorhynchus or other animals similar. Their heads would be a bit smaller. The body would be much more elongated. The tail would be much more longer. So everything just kind of feels a lot more compacted. But that's kind of typical for Mattel to kind of maybe alter some of the proportions in order for it to fit a certain scale or in a package or something like that. So that's to be expected. I mean, I'm not upset about it. These aren't supposed to be scientifically accurate models. That's where you go for like Safari or PNSO for, but these are really cool regardless. But yeah, the sculpt is really nice. The head here looks really good, very crocodilian-like, I would say, with the long snout, or maybe even like an alligator gar or a gharial. But really cool. You can see the nostril right there, little eyes with the little slit pupil, whatever this part of the skull is called, but really well defined, I would say. And then if we can open the mouth, which is it opens up pretty nicely, I would say. The teeth are nicely sculpted. I like how Mattel's trying to give us some more sharper teeth instead of like the solid globs of teeth that they used to do, so that's really cool. The tongue is sculpted right there really nicely. It's in like a smooth texture, so it has like kind of like that wet saliva look to it. Really cool. Got the gum flaps on the side there. Very faint, small detail on the roof of the mouth, nothing major. And then yeah, see, as you can see from the entire top side, it's covered in a nice amount of scale detail. You got some larger scales here at the top of the body, and it just kind of fades into these smaller scales, and then kind of smaller scales on the underside, but a lot more of a smoother texture to it. You can see some more scales here on the underside of the jaw, and it just kind of starts to become more smooth throughout the entire underside. You got some kind of scoots right here, kind of sticking out of the neck. A lot of muscle definition on the figure as well, kind of poking through the skin and where the, you know, bone attachments or muscle attachments are, which is really cool. But yeah, very nicely done in terms of the detail and the sculpt. So Mattel did an awesome job as usual. And then we got the 4 flippers, which are very unique. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent to what you see with these animals, but I'm trying to I don't know. I can't seem to remember exactly how these are necessarily portrayed. I do think they did have larger back fins and smaller front fins, but I don't think they were this dramatic. So Mattel obviously made these back fins like hugely, you know, less proportionate or just very oversized compared to the smaller fins. I mean, they got the idea down, but it's not entirely fully accurate, but they do look really nice. You got a lot of nice scales on the fins, or the flippers, I guess, and some really nice texture along the side here of the flippers, which are actually very fish-like. They look like fish fins, which actually I can say that too with the tail. It looks like a fish tail with those lined texture detail right there, and how it's kind of like ripped up, which is a really cool little touch to detail, you know, because not every animal is going to be perfect, you know. It's going to have some rips, it's going to have some scars, you know, because it's living its life in the animal kingdom. So it's really cool. I think the tail on the Dacosaurus was definitely a lot more better portrayed to the actual animal, because it has like that really top small little fin up there and that really big one down there, or I guess tail fluke, I guess you can call them. This one's definitely more fish-like, so this animal definitely looks like it has a lot more fish DNA in it, which I guess is kind of cool. If you're kind of creating like your own Jurassic Park story, you could say like this Torvoneustes was bred with a lot of fish DNA added to it, which gave it like these fish-like fins. That's really cool. So yeah, really like the fish-like fins, and I like how a lot of them look all ripped up and you got some holes in them. That's really cool. Also, speaking of scars, you got a lot of scarring here, like on the body as well. So kind of continuing with that trend of the danger packs, the last wave of danger packs that came out with all those scars on it. Really cool. Got some kind of like little vein looking structures here on the side of the body. And some more creases and folds here around the lower jaw. So overall, really nicely sculpted. I really do like this one a lot. Definitely stands out with the current Frenzy packs. And the colors, I love the colors. I love this shade of blue with these dark, I'm not sure if that's like what, like a dark green or maybe like a lighter black or something, but these dark markings complement very well against the blue tone. And you got some really nice lighter colors for the underside, which is only reaches to at least to the mid section here around the stomach region, and then only covers these two fins. So it's not complete, which of course would have been nice if it was complete, but it looks good for what it is. And you got a nice yellow eye, or maybe like a yellowish orange eye, and some like a cream color for the teeth, and like a fleshy red pink color for the inside of the mouth, or at least just the tongue and the gum flaps. But are really cool. I really love the colors. The patterns on the back look really nice too. Makes it look more like a marine reptile. So for articulation, the jaw can open and close very nicely. Got a neck joint, can go down about that far, which looks really weird when you do that. And then you can make it go up, which again is pretty weird. I'm not even sure if these animals really had flexible necks like this to begin with, but I guess you can kind of get some good like swimming shots, like it's about to dive right up or something. So that's really cool. And then the flippers, here's something very interesting with this Torvoneustes figure. Usually with these smaller, Frenzy pack or Danger pack like animals, the fins, like the Dacosaurus here, will just be able to move forward and backwards. That's it. Nothing, super extraordinary. But on these ones, they have like extra articulation. So these can go up and down, get them in like that cool flapping swimming pose. And it can rotate 360. So you got some added articulation onto these fins, both the front fins and the back fins. So up and down and rotate. So that's really cool. Really cool how Mattel did that. If they can give us like another plesiosaur with this same of articulation, that would be fantastic. And then you got a swivel for the tail, but obviously I don't use that. Here on the underside, you got some more stuff like the logo. You even got the fax back on the legs or the feet of these animals now instead of the pull-up tab, so that's really cool. But yeah, Torvoneustes, really great figure. Looks really cool next to the Dacosaurus. Hopefully we'll get some more along this like little family group, like maybe the classic Metriorhynchus. Here it is compared with a human figure. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I think it fits pretty perfectly for these smaller animals, I guess. But yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say for the Torvoneustes. Really great figure, nice new species added to the collection. I recommend it. I mean, if you're someone that wants to collect all the different species that Mattel comes out with. But yeah, I recommend it for sure. Really great sculpt. I love the colors. Love the articulated fins. And just an overall really cool and interesting looking animal. I don't know a whole lot about these, but this review kind of got me into, maybe just looking a bit more into these animals. Yeah, that's just me though. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.